All right, welcome to another episode. We got Jeff here, Jeff Cunningham, aka Jeff the Entrepreneur. If you follow him on Instagram, he's the founder of Changing Lives Consulting. He owns equity in several companies, but recently he's focused on several projects, including a new book titled My Dreams Keep Me Awake, the Kokomo Jays Members Only Club, and a 100K formula course, which recently released. So, Jeff, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I always say Jeff J. Cunningham, future president of the United States, or then I say Jeff the Entrepreneur, better than Bezos. But literally, I'm a man of God. I'm doing what the Lord's called me to do. I actually just came back from hearing one of my big mentors, and that's why that book is coming out. Actually, my dad, who right now is going through some more element issue, I'm going to be flying back to Connecticut in the snow out of here.
Mm,
He Jeff, when he finished that book, so it was like, we're going to publish it. I went back and finished it. I don't know how long my dad's going to be with me. I mean, that happens with all life, with all times. You never know when anybody, right? I thought Charlie Kirk would still be here, and he's not here either. So
yeah.
it's really focusing on who's right in front of you right now, which is you, Lewis. So thank you so much for having me on. We're going on a tour to launch this book, and I'm very glad to start it off with you.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit more about its inception. Where does it come from? And then ultimately, what would you like to see it do in terms of impact on the world?
So, I think everybody at one time has a book in them. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
So the first book, you can look it up. It's the best Instagram guide ever. And as I was teaching people to get to their first like 10K month on Instagram, like everybody was, right?
Yeah.
I bought a coach on there. I built this book that they put inside a software that I owned called Postflow at the time, right? And that book actually still gets me leads and is like a calling card on Instagram, right? People still
Mm,
follow it. I don't know. It's like out there for free on one of our funnels, right? So, and that's usually the process we do, helping coaches and consultants put like ebooks out, right?
mm.
But and through the journey, the original title of the book was Getting Rich in Recession. If I may, it's very short. I actually got a book
Yeah.
deal on. Were you on Clubhouse back in the day or no?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. When it was popping up. Yeah.
It was popping, and then I got to give a shout out to one of my guys who had a publishing company. He offered me a book deal because I read the introduction. So I'm gonna read the introduction. It's
Yeah.
very short, and
Uh-huh.
then you'll know and you'll know where it is here. All right,
Perfect.
COVID-19 hit. Streets were quiet. My phone rang. It was one of my wonderful tenants, a hairstylist. She was just laid off and did not know if she'd be able to pay rent. The call repeated with each of my tenants. The construction company where my owner and mentor, JC Tenati, called to all his employees to take time off as another customer called to cancel the job just signed a week prior. We were going into recession. Everyone felt it. The world was shutting down. I did not know where my next dollar would come from. In the midst of this, I made a decision. Go to zero. Crazy, I thought to myself. I'm just about to get a good-sized commission check over 3,400. I should hold on to it just in case. And as soon as I had that thought, knew I wouldn't take the necessary action needed by hanging on to a $3,000 commission check. I took the last check and did something that scared me. I wired the last money to my business partner, Ahmad in London, who I owned equity in a software I helped fund. I want to create jobs in this new community, a new economy. I remember clearly thinking, with half the world seeming to be laid off, is the only thing I wanted to do if I truly wanted to call myself an entrepreneur. So I made a decision, invest all I had into this one last hope to get this promising affiliate marketing software to market, bring in the money. The software would help people make money from home through affiliate links. Perfect timing. It got worse. Unfortunately, one of the Russian coders on our team saw the promise of the software, hacked the server, and held it for ransom. Yep, the countless thousands I poured into the software now could be deleted with one button. But the background and connections I had in the software field were able to help us protect the server, make a duplicate backup, and let us have the upper hand. I made a decision. I will adapt to these new times, find out what the market needs, and give it to them. This was the best decision of my life. And that was the introduction. The first chapter is called The Decision. And that's leading into, and that's a true story. I was
Yeah.
in Connecticut. I mean, the whole thing's true. I don't know what's like a favorite book you've ever read for you.
Oh my goodness, there's so many, dude. One of them that was the most life-changing was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It's
Yeah.
fiction, but yeah.
So no, I know The Alchemist very well. Mine was the 10X rule. I know people get mad at me. I pray for Grant and his salvation in Elena all the time, but that book changed my life. So I wrote this book kind of like that in that thing.
Mm,
lessons that you're going to do at thing. It is a longer book, but anybody who's been following me, if you haven't been following me, you're taking on a wild ride of all the real journeys of just pulling back the cover. What is entrepreneur? And if you have dreams and you want to chase dreams, the three things I've done, speaking on stages, get paid to speak on stage, all that cool stuff that everybody's like, oh, how do you do that? I put it all in the book because that way, anybody who wants to just get coffee with me or pick my brain or all that stuff, I can just hand them a book.
Yeah.
And also the last chapter is called Kokomo Jays, which this year, I'm cutting the chapter. I talked to my dad on the phone. I'm cutting the chapter with Trouble Broke My Heart. We put the lost
Um,
chapter on my Substack to my LinkedIn newsletter, but
um,
I told the girl today that I'm not married yet, still single here, that I'm gonna go with for the coffee shop this year. So we're doing a little bit
mm,
extra that will make people be like, man, what's he doing? So it's leading up to
mm.
a launch of a coffee shop.
I love that. And then in the long term, I know that you want to run for president. So there's all these dreams, there's all these desires, and naturally your name is, Jeff the Entrepreneur. Where does this come from, man? Like for you, is it the impact? Is it just the adventure? Or what's the value, the belief behind it all?
So Patrick but David wrote a book called Choose Your Enemies Wisely, right? And in my life, I've always been told I can't do something, and it's always the people who tell me I can't do something that motivated me. The people who believe in me, and I love all the people who believe in me. They don't motivate me as much, right? So
Mm,
I had when I was teaching behavioral middle school, I had one of the students write down a note. It's in my Amazon Prime Speak
mm,
Up thing, and said, "You'll never be president." So I have a grudge with a former student. Sometimes people have teachers that talk to them and the thing. And this was a behavioral middle school. I love those students. I knew what she meant by that, and she's probably right. At that moment, I couldn't become president. Even at this moment, I don't think I can. But I think the man that the Lord's calling me to be required, could be. I'm a synergist. I'm a connector. I keep stuff very. I watch a lot of the things that's going on in this world. And
mm,
although I do think the Lord is going to return, and I thought my dad, I grew up with my dad all the time saying the Lord was going to return every 20 seconds, right? Bring a girl home or whatever, and he'd always talk about the rapture. But
right.
don't know when he's going to be here. So here's the thing. The reason why I say I'm so close to the coffee shop dream. I've already done all.
Mm,
I wrote down, and we've all done this, right? If you know Tony Robbins, Date with Destiny, I wrote down I'm going to be in Miami. I'm going to be looking over where I'm going to build a coffee shop. I'm going to be coaching. I'm going to be getting paid to speak at events. We're actually getting on a call with money to speak at an event in Vegas, and all do all that stuff, right? All the like the notoriety stuff that people
yeah.
want to be cool and significance. But the reason why I'm doing it is because like I want people to think, man, if this guy can do it, I can do it, right? The same way
Mm,
when I wanted to kill myself after I lost my brother to drugs, fentanyl. My brother, I went to wake him up. He didn't wake up. And I
mm,
had all those demon thoughts of go kill yourself, right? And I think
mm,
everybody's had that at one point. Like I want to normalize if anybody's listening to this right now and you're thinking, man, I felt like ending it and you're a man, like that's normal. Okay. That's not unnormal. Okay. That's normal. If you go through life, you're gonna get, and if you haven't, congratulations, right? So at that moment, I prayed to God. I said, God, hey, don't even wake me up. And I found the video. Hate or love the guy, because a lot of people gets a lot of hate, just like Trump. But Grant Cardone, man, and that video saved my life. And although
mm,
maybe I haven't invested all the money and wore all the stuff by Grant, because Grant, I'm sure, gets mad about all that, I give him a whole credit. Because then I found him, I found Ed Milet, I found Brad Lee, and I want to start getting tight with those guys, and Patrick and David, all those guys. They're all like, and I just associate with those guys. Like those guys were all
mm,
life changers to me. So I'm gonna be one of them. And I didn't wait. I saw someone say this. Ed Milet actually spoke at an event, and he talked about the guy who got his dad sober was only sober 30 days before he got sober, and it changed Ed Milet's life. Ed Milet had a dad who was there. So
yeah.
like and it made me feel great because I paid 7,800 for 6 calls of coaching. I started doing my $250 coaching sessions right after that, right?
Mm,
And in coaching, and everybody's like, "Oh, what do you coach them on?" I coached them on basically life coaching of like, "Hey, where
mm,
you are, where do you want to go, right? What do you need to get in there?" And then I always connect them to like a job that would make money. And my first webinar I ever did was called "Make More Money Now" because I need to make more money now. I did it in Connecticut. And I wound up selling a 6-week course for 3K, and it made everybody be like, "How do you do that?" But shout out to Russell Brunson as well. People always get mad. I say all these names, but like these are all like little parts of it. And then I'm building out. I always get mad though. As soon as people are want to pick my brain or have me look at their CRMs, they buy Russell Brunson's mastermind. I'm like, yo, I got a mastermind here too. But I guess
Right, right.
he has a little bit more content, a little bit more, but I still do get hurt about that, you know? So.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Well, there's a lot there in terms of like the impact, the people you've helped. From your experience, man, what's the blocker? What are the things that get in people's ways to ultimately succeed and ultimately reach their dreams? What are some of the patterns you've noticed?
Women, man. I think, as clear as it is, the Satan will use something to distract you, right? Whether it's a woman for a guy, right? Women will build up, man, and the wrong one will take them down. And there's a
Mm,
lot of times that will happen. You've got to be on guard. I cut off women, alcohol, and going out for 3 years as I built my AI software, right? I read the book Think and Grow Rich. And I
nice.
cut out all that, like, porn and anything that any guy that's listening
Mm,
to this has done. I cut it out, went to the gym and did all that stuff, right? And just put myself in it. The thing I left out of that though was the Lord. And there's a peace that passes all understanding when you have the Lord with you.
mm,
In the Bible it says, "Do not be afraid," like one day every year, right? And with the world and everything going on in the world today. I do believe it's ungodly versus godly right now, and we're battling the demons in our heads. And if you ever see those comic books where they have the angel and the devil on
yeah,
the
yeah,
shoulder, right? That's true. Like there's spiritual warfare out there,
yeah.
right? And everybody, I feel like it's a lot bigger than all of us. I'm inserting my name, Jeff J. Cunningham, in this thing. After they killed Charlie Kirk and they murdered, right? And there's a lot of people getting murdered. There's that Alex Preddy got murdered. Like there's people getting murdered all the time, right? There's people get murdered in Liberty City, right down here where Les Brown grew up, right? Uh, I
Mm,
I think life is the most valuable thing, no matter who it is. I don't care who you are, right? Because the biggest thing is when someone dies, is where do they go, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. If it's the Great Commission, I truly believe what I believe, like, right, that people get saved and they go to heaven or you go to hell. And I don't leave with that, right? I was talking to one of the guys about running for president and basically wanting to do this. And he's like, "Well, there's evangelical and president." And I was like, "No, if you look at Charlie Kirk, what Charlie Kirk did, he stood up for the Lord and he challenged issues, right? And the truth, right?"
yeah.
So I actually think that's a good model to go by. You just, obviously want to stay alive.
Yeah, 100%. And with anything, right? Like rewards take risk. So from your perspective, what should people remember when they're on the brink of saying, let's go for it, but then they hold back because of the risk or the fears? What should they remember about themselves or about their mission?
Yeah, fair is the direction. Like fair is the direction. Anytime you're afraid, you either retreat or go into it. So you just want to know which way you're going. Anytime you get afraid, hey, which way am I going? Am I retreating or going into it? And then if you are retreating, like the way I do is, hey, you're a coward, right? I talk to myself, self saying, hey, a real person, the person in the movie would go for this. They would make the move to Miami. They'd ask the girl out, right? They'd take the last shot. They'd try out for starting quarterback, right? They'd
Mm,
ask to speak on that stage, right? They'd
mm,
pack it out. They'd ask to get paid 25K to speak on the stage, right?
mm,
Whatever it is in there, you have to like all these fair questions, especially in this whole coaching course world. A lot of people, what I'm doing for them, although I come off as this very high energy guy, is I'm really just coaching them through the tough decisions that they can't do and showing them how they can do it in a better way that gives them confidence so they're not afraid, right? And that's
mm.
that's a lot of it, whether especially putting out an offer. You gotta let me ask you this question. Do you believe people care or people don't care?
They care.
Yeah, so and there's people who don't believe that. And as long as you believe that, then you have to be an entrepreneur, you have to believe that because you're putting out a product and saying, hey, come
Yeah.
buy my product, right? So it's the most, scariest thing in the world when you're
Mm,
first starting. So
mm-hmm.
but I had a
Absolutely.
lemonade stand back in the young. Like I put out a lemonade stand and I had my brother and sister advertising. Like I've had this in me. And I believe
Mm,
that strangers had my money back then. And I was going to get the money and making 80 bucks at a lemonade stand. That's why the coffee shop in honor of my brother
mm,
is
mm,
like the end all. Like part of the reason I'm talking about running for office and stuff and president and all that is because I've come so close to the coffee shop that like I could have done the coffee shop maybe 2 years ago, but I was probably too scared of it because it was the one in honor of my brother. So I didn't want it to fail. So I went to the
Gotcha.
Philippines, built a whole VA company in the Philippines. It's probably not a
Mm,
great idea, but if it failed, and it's
I
great, it's
see.
doing great. It's called Bethel Core now. It's great in there. If it failed, I wouldn't it wouldn't hurt me as much as like a coffee shop closing, you know?
Absolutely, man. Well, a big piece of that is this idea of faith and confidence in terms of like going for it. What else? What are some other ingredients that make a great entrepreneur beyond maybe faith, confidence, and some of the things you mentioned?
So the definition of an entrepreneur is a person who takes on greater than financial risks, right? And opens business or businesses, right? That's the
Mm,
whole definition. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, then that's what you have to do. You have to take on greater than financial risks, right? Which you're done, right? Use swipe that credit card, get going in that way, right? In a way, believe that your offer will sell on the back end. Go get the funding, right? In that point, however it is. And so you can apply jobs. Like I've paid people, I've worked jobs and paid payroll, right? I've done all that stuff, right? I've done Uber Eats and done all.
mm,
I think people get so mad because they want to put up a persona that an
yeah.
entrepreneur is so perfect. If you go look at me, Jeff the Entrepreneur, everybody always tells me clean up your content. How do you close 50K clients? How do people pay you, $2,000 a call or 1,500 and stuff, right? And
Hmm.
it's really once they get on the call, they see. I always saw the guy who owned Netflix, right? His Instagram was like nothing, right? And I was like, well, I'm just gonna be myself. It's easier to be myself. That way people will judge me. And by the way, the clients that I've taught this to who do their webinars, one of our clients just hit 200K this month. Gene the Go-Getter, he does trust in families, and he has the most authentic Instagram too, just like my other girl Shelby Sapp, right? They have authentically who they are
Uh,
at, right? So
mhm.
like when you kind of stay in a certain rhythm for that, it's good. And that's kind of what I've done over the years, not even at a level of some of the people. Um, but that's part of why I want to run for president because to get to that level, I feel like I'd have to button up some stuff.
Yeah. And another difficult thing is sometimes people think that they understand authenticity, but then on the other side of that, they say, well, what do I do? Like, how do I be authentic? And then they overthink it. What would be the advice for those folks?
Yeah, listen, so here's the thing. We're in a trust recession right now, right? Nobody trusts anybody, right? So freaking go live. Like live stream, AI is taking over the world.
Mm,
Live stream. We have a Kick account. We live stream there. I'll go live on Instagram. Go freaking live. People are so scared to do that in there. They want to hide behind everything and have the perfect filters. Man, the best way you can build connection is live. That's why live events there's a live event every weekend here in Miami, right? I always get invited to, but like or every weekday. But
yeah.
you want like live is everything, right? You're really authentic. Feel I know some girls do getting ready with me. I mean, there's
Mm,
these chicks making money on TikTok, right? And they're really just going live, man. And guys are tipping them, but they're being more authentic. Hey, I'm here for the money. They're working women, right? We're doing that. And if I became president, I would definitely outlaw some of that. I think having working women and sex work and OnlyFans and porn and all this has really America's let it. We used to have better restrictions back in the day. I mean, there was the 900 numbers. I was actually watching that back in the day when you had that. I guess that was the OnlyFans back in the day. So we're always going to have a sense of that. I just feel like we could clean it up because what that's doing very clear that everybody knows it's making like just men weaker, right? And it's
mm,
making women think they can get anything and it's really we're getting away from what the family was, the family unit, and that's the most important thing. That's what Satan wants to break up is the family unit. So if we can get more people, kind of what the Muslims are doing, the Muslims are doing it better as they're getting married and having kids more. If we can keep up as a American race on that, it'll be much better.
absolutely, brother. Well, I know you got several events and things coming up here. So as we wrap up for you, what's the core message, assuming you ran a campaign like right now today to be president, what would be your leading message to the world, to the US?
Yeah, inspire others always. So if we all led from that, whether it's left or right, godly or ungodly, that every word we came out of our mouth, that we inspire, even me checking some of the things I said in here, it would that if that got universally through everybody, then it would be better. You know what I mean? It would just be better in that realm that anybody can do it. Just there's a way you can either lead with fear, okay, which Trump leads a lot with fear, right? Hey, I'm going to do this big iron fist, or you can lead with inspiration, right? And I've always led with inspiration. When I've played football for coaches, I've run for the world for that. I do
Mm.
think we need an inspirational leader now. Whether it's me, whether it's Tony Robbins, whoever the Lord's calling it to be. Like, and I might not be president. I might run for governor here. I don't really like one of the governors, what he's running on here in Florida. So, I need to get better at getting money. I have this new shirt line of I collect hundreds that I brought back when I started to start collecting, getting in so I can collect donors' money so I don't have to take money from like, Israel or APAC or anything like that, because
Right, right.
that gets a lot of people don't like that now. That's not
Yeah.
popular.
I hear you, brother. Well, it's been a pleasure as always. For people that want to connect further, I know there's Connect, I know there's other platforms like Instagram, but how can they connect further with you and reach out?
Yeah, so you can just text. We have everything set up on this phone. This is my business phone, 786-828-9907. Either go to me or my assistant Ken. If you want to get a pre-order a copy of the book, if you want to get me on your podcast, if you want to see how it is to get on the Make More Money podcast that we have as well, or anything like that, yeah, then just text that number. It's also on our website, getclc.com. And our automated webinar, everybody always asks, like, hey, what's that look like? You can see the template, rip it off. The whole
Mm.
deal is getclc.com/online. That's the main service that we do right now. So,
Beautiful, brother. Well, it's been a pleasure. God bless. And any parting words? Anything else?
no, just I think my favorite Bible verse right now is John 3:30. He must increase and I must decrease. I didn't pray before this podcast here, right? So sometimes I try and say as many punchy clips. I watched a little bit too much Andrew Tate back in the
I
day,
hear
right?
you, man.
But yeah, I apologize if it didn't land as well.
No, it's been perfect. No, I appreciate you, and thank you everybody else for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.